Pete Hammond says it's a great documentary on a timeless theme. It is a fascinating film that begins with one small, odd incident and mushrooms into a huge scientific investigation of apparent messages from the other side. It is also the afterlife story of Forrest J Ackerman, a founding father of Hollywood science fiction who refuses to rest in peace.
There are countless stories of people reporting that after someone that they've dearly loved has died, that a whole host of electronic and other kinds of physical anomalies occur, where messages might be picked up.
At the time of the tribute for Forrest J Ackerman, very strange things started happening to a number of his friends, including me. I had as one of my mentors Forrest J Ackerman, who was an extraordinary inspiration to me from the time that I was a boy, reading the magazine that he edited called Famous Monsters of Filmland.
I wound up with about 250,000 science fiction books and magazines and paintings and props and just everything imaginable to fill up a 17-room home with 3 garages in which you couldn't park a pogo stick.
Lord of the Rings didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, I'm the product of films that I loved, that inspired me, particularly in my case, the magazine that Forrest Ackerman created, which had such a huge influence on me.
December 2008, Forrest died. Joe Moe, who was Forrest's manservant, nurse, handler, best friend, invited us to the tribute for him at the Egyptian Theater. Now, keep in mind that Forrest never believed in the afterlife. And that was something that, in my mind, stuck in my mind, because I thought, well, you're getting pretty close to the end of your life. You might want to reconsider this, you know. So we went to Forrest's grave. Now, this is at the Forest Lawn Cemetery. And so I walked up, and just for some reason, I wanted to see if the crypt was hollow, like if you could hear it. Hello, Uncle Forrest. So I was posting on Blogspot a Forrest blog, and I was doing it through Facebook. When you do that, Facebook hauls up one of those random cryptographic things. Up pops Ackerman, capital A, 000. And I said, I can't believe this.
It's a little bit spooky, you know, it's kind of a thing, and we were having a discussion about what it really meant.
Yeah. And I said, like, you know, Ackerman reset, Ackerman new life, reboot.
Ackerman dead. And the minute we said the word dead, my computer, which I hadn't even touched yet, the screen was down. It was on, but it was down. Blurts out this in a childlike voice.
Oh my gosh, no way!
The thing that struck me as very strange was the fact that my computer screen wasn't up, so there's no reason my computer should be suddenly starting to talk to me.
I spoke at his tribute, and soon afterwards, like the Canadian filmmakers you've heard from, something very strange happened to me. This is the original document that this happened with. I was alone in the house, the doors were locked, I plunked it down onto the bed and went into the bathroom. When I came out, I could see moist black ink covering some of the words that hadn't been there when I went into the bathroom. I arranged to have that ink blot scientifically analyzed.
This is not a situation where somebody just, a leak in the ceiling, dripped something onto this document. That's absolutely for sure, because the obliteration is very neat.
I don't know how to recreate this. I couldn't do it. A line was targeted.
Targeted?
Yeah.
What did it mean that that line on the document was targeted? And what was the message? The quest to find out that answer, and the suspicion that it could have originated with the late Forrest J Ackerman, opened up doors for me that led to an investigation of after-death communication of all kinds.
When I first started out in the medical field, working our small-town hospital, again, my job was, as people died, I would hold their hand. I don't believe people should pass from this earth over to whatever is on the other side alone. I was taking care of a man who was clearly dying, and I was holding his hand. And as he took his last breath, you saw the spirit come up from the body and just come up like this.
We've never paid so much attention as we are now, and the nurses are talking about not just hearing them, these stories, but now they're beginning to see things collectively. And in the room, nurses, as they're walking in to the room in the middle of the night, just as they're taking their last breath, many of them will mention that they see a light, just like a smoke or not such an intense light, but a white light protruding and exuding from the mouth and moving upwards towards the ceiling. They would see light just emanating from under the door, and when they open it, it disappear. Temperature changes in the room.
Even during the day, one of the doors, which are quite heavy, will open up, and then you'll hear the floor creak. So whenever weird stuff like that happens, we just say, well, there's the ghost.
And we'd always heard that our house was a birthing hospital, so we kind of thought there might be a connection. I went up to comfort her and I said, what's wrong? And she said, make that baby stop crying. And I said, well, Aiden's not crying. That's her brother's name. And she said, no, not Aiden, that baby. And she pointed to the corner of the room where I didn't see anything, but it was very creepy. I'm like, okay. That was the creepiest thing because she was little. She was only 2.
Spirit is not somewhere off in the distance, it's right here all around us, like radio signals. I mean, we know that this room is filled with radio signals because if we have a radio, we can tune to each signal separately. They're all here jumbled together in the same space, but each signal remains distinct. And the spirit worlds are the same way. They're all right here all around us. And they're separated not by distance, but by vibrations, just like radio waves. So we develop these blinders that kind of keep us locked in on the physical world. Our 5 senses are limited. Sometimes we can pull the veil back and get a glimpse of what's on the other side. For example, through our dreams, we might be able to see a loved one come through.
I frantically was at this mall, and there was this psychic shop in the mall, and I walked in and I saw this lady sitting on the couch, and I said, you've got to help me. This murdered girl came to me and she told all these spirits that I can see her, and now they're everywhere and I don't know what to do. And I remember her looking at me and she was just calm as can be, and she said, well, dear, you need to set hours with them. And I'm like, hours? I'm like, what are you talking about? Set hours? And she's like, you need to set hours and tell them that you will only work with them when you want to. And I thought, wow, can you do that? Like, I didn't think that you could do that. And she's like, oh, and you know, you could take classes and learn how to control it. And I was like, classes? They teach classes about this? I never in my wildest dreams thought that you could go take a class on how to talk to dead people and make a schedule.
That usually doesn't ring.
World premiere on Syfy, May 15th, 2013. 2 DVD set. The film plus sequel plus bonus features available now at lifeafterdeathproject.com. Coupon code, limited time only.